Do you think your book cover just needs to look nice? That mindset could be costing you credibility, customers, and clicks before a single word gets read.
Pour a cup of clarity, sip a spark of insight. Coffee with Karma, your morning feels just right.
Your book is doing one of two things right now. It's either opening up a door or closing off opportunities. We live in a world where first impressions are often made in pixels and in seconds. So if your book cover doesn't pull someone in right away at thumbnail size, your book never gets read. It never gets purchased. It never has an opportunity to bring in your clients. So in today's episode of Coffee with Karma, I'm going to be unpacking 5 ways that you can design your book cover for clicks and conversion. Hi, my name is Carma Spence, and I help established business leaders and experts write, publish, and market client attracting books that drive business growth and build authority. If you're watching this video on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell so that the YouTube algorithm knows that people like you who want to grow their business with books will like videos like this. So let's get to these 5 tweaks that you can do on your cover so that it is more likely to drive a click, which will lead to a buy, which can then lead to a client. The first one is contrast in color tells a story. If you use bold contrast, black and gold, navy and coral, these are bold color choices that have high contrast. It evokes tension and signals transformation. This is a core reason that people pick up nonfiction books. They want a transformation, and if visually you can promise them that, they're more likely to buy. Or at least I should say, they're more likely to pick up the book either in a store or click through on Amazon or on any of the other online book sellers, and then they'll check out the description. That's the second thing that needs to happen. But the first thing is always the cover. Number 2, use negative space to draw the eye. So positive space is the stuff, the words, the images, that kind of thing. Negative space is the blank space that doesn't have anything. Fun fact, people with dyslexia are more drawn to negative space than to positive space. So for example, if you look at a map of the San Francisco Bay Area, you'll see the little city and you'll see the bay. What's the first thing you look at, the city or the bay? You look at the bay first. It's highly likely that you have dyslexia. Fun fact, I've always been drawn to the bay. Anyway, that has nothing to do with covers, or does it? Strategic white space, even if it's in color, isn't just emptiness. It's an invitation. It creates tension and curiosity so that people go, what's not being said here? And of course, if you have readers, if your ideal clients are dyslexic, that negative space is what draws them in. If you have readers who are not dyslexic, the negative space builds that tension of why isn't there stuff there? It's a weird psychology, but that it's the truth. So by balancing the elements with the negative space, you can create a psychological experience that gets them to click through. Negative 3, more information on negative space. Let the negative space do the work. So a crowded cover, well, it says you're trying hard, and it creates a sort of a clutterness that turns people away. So minimalist book covers are better. They use strategic emptiness to rest the eye and for the mind to wander. It also gives your space for the message to stand through. Have you ever noticed there are plenty of book covers in the nonfiction space that really don't have any visuals? It's just words and then maybe a couple little spots to give it balance. Look at Atomic Habits. Plain white cover, bold black words, and just a splash of gold so that it doesn't look like a generic book. So having that minimalist look actually makes you look more professional these days. That wasn't always the case, but it certainly is the case now, and people are more likely to click through. Plus, when you do a minimalist cover, you're able to make the message, the title, larger so people can actually read it when it's really tiny as a thumbnail. If you're enjoying these tips so far, then you would love my Authority Book Blueprint. This is a workbook that helps you jumpstart your book, basically. It helps you figure out what your right idea is and start thinking about what is going to be in that book, who's it for, all that stuff, so that you are ready to write your book quickly. You can get it at the link in the show notes. Also, I did a deep dive blog post on the effective things of covers. I will put a link to that in the show notes as well. Now to number 4. The subtitle is the promise, not the pitch. So you're not pitching on your cover. You're not trying to sell yourself. What you're trying to do on a cover is get people to go explore the book more deeply. That's either pick it up from a shelf or click through on an online bookseller. So your book title itself should be something that draws people in, makes them go, "What?" And then the subtitle promises the transformation that the book is going to give them. When you have that double whammy, you're more likely to get click-throughs so that they read your description, because your description is where you really sell that transformation. The book cover is where you grab their attention and make a promise. When you do that, you're more likely to get those clicks, even when it's thumbnail. And number 5, test the thumbnail first. Always. A gorgeous design doesn't necessarily mean clicks. If your cover disappears when it's thumbnail size, it's time for a new book cover. So what I recommend doing before you finalize a book cover, shrink it down to thumbnail. If you have multiple choices, put all those thumbnails together. Which one draws your eye? Which one makes you lean in and want to click? That's your winning book cover. Honestly, when I did Home Sweet Homepage, when I did the second version, there was the cover I loved and the cover that pulled strongly. But honestly, I should have gone with my gut and tested at thumbnail, because the one I loved would have been more effective at thumbnail size than the one that people liked. Lesson learned. When you're doing a poll of your book cover, you're probably going to be showing them at large size. And so they will be drawn to the large size. You want them to be drawn at thumbnail size. So when you test your covers, give them thumbnail sizes. You'll get a truer vote on your cover poll. So there you go. 5 different tweaks that you can use to make your cover stronger, better, and more clickable. Because remember, your main goal of a cover is to get people to go, what's this book about? I think it might be for me, and investigate further. It doesn't sell the book yet. What it does is it gets people to investigate the book to see if they want to buy it. So there you go. On Wednesday, I will be back with designing your book to be read, and I'll be talking about interior design tweaks that help readers continue reading. This is Carma Spence saying, ciao for now.